this tutorial we are gonna learn about how to create a simple sign up screen in React Native. So let's begin. First of all, remove this by default code which is given by React Native. We will use class based components. Okay, this is a arrow function. Remove this. Instead write it as class. Sorry, we have to export it. Okay, export default class and name it whatever you want, but as it is a main file of our app, so I am naming it as app extends react dot component. Okay, and also we have to import that component from react, this one. Copy it and come to the import section, and after comma place it here as this. Okay, after this place the curly braces, and here I have to put the render method. And remember guys, render is the first method that runs whenever a program visits a file to execute the code. So whatever we want to print on the screen, we have to write that code in our render method. Okay, and this render method will return whatever we want to print on the screen. So let's suppose I want to print a text on the screen. So what I will do, I will simply create a view, and inside this view I am gonna place text. Sorry, text. Okay, and I can type as hello world. Okay, let's save it. It is saying only one default export. Okay, you can export only one thing at a time. So as I am exporting it here, so I have to remove this here. Okay, let's refresh it, and you can see I have hello world print on the screen. So now we can also remove this one code, this style code, this css code. And if you are facing this type of issue, just click on it and press alt plus enter from the keyboard and settings, and disable it. Okay, and it will disappear. Now one important thing to remember guys, whenever you are working with React Native, so whatever component you are intended to use in React Native, first you have to import it. Okay, without importing that component you cannot use it. For example, I want to use view, so I imported view in React Native. I want to use text, so I imported text, and this was by default from React Native, but in the future if we are gonna use anything else, we have to import it from React Native or some other libraries. So I will show you how to do it. Okay, so and remember thing, what this view is, this is like a div. If you are experienced with web and HTML, like uh, you can concept it as a separate component. Like if I wanna print a header on my screen, I can place it in a view which is a separate component, and if I have to place some text inputs, so I can place them in a view. This will be another view. Like view can be a division of the components in the screen. Okay, so now let's move this. What I have to do is I have to place an image. In the previous part, we created this assets folder, and inside this asset folder I created the logo of my company Stones Cave. Okay, so we will use this logo in our screen. First I have to import the image from React Native. Image, and now I can use this image. Inside view, use image tag, and come down. So here you have to specify the path for your image. Source equals to require, and inside this require specify the path where your image or logo you are using is present. So assets, yeah, this assets, and inside this assets stonescape.png, and you can see I have imported this Stonescape logo in my screen. Now I have to create some text inputs like username, password, email, or contact. So let's begin. First I have to import text input from React Native. Okay, now I can use them here. Create another view, Okay, and inside this view I can use text input. And coming down, what I have to do is I place placeholder here, and I will name it as username. Okay, and you can see username is placed here. And now uh, just copy this. Okay, and place it down here. Okay, name it as password, and you can name it as email, and just one other text input and call it as contact. Placeholder equals to contact. Okay, let's save it, and you can see all the four text inputs in our screen. Now it's time to style these text inputs, but before that I have also used a button. So in order to use a button, by default React Native doesn't provide us so much beautiful UI. So to use a beautiful UI in our React Native, we have to install a package library. So open the terminal of your IDE and type in command as npm install native base. Okay, this is the library which we are gonna use to create a beautiful UI of our React Native app. Once this is installed, we will import button from native base, and we will use button from native base in our app. Okay, it will install in a short time. Just wait a moment. So let's import a button from native base. Import from native base like this, and the package is installing. So come down here and place a button here. Okay, and inside this button place a text like click me, or something else you wanna prefer. Click me. Okay, I am using click me. The package is still installing. This is showing the error of native base because our package is not installed yet. Once this package is installed, the error will be gone. Okay, I don't know why it is taking too much long, but just keep waiting for a moment. So by that time, when our native base is not installed, let's use a button from React Native by default. Okay, syntax error. Okay, it is saying we have already declared button. Must be a string. So guys, just a moment until it is installed, then we will use it from native base instead of React Native. React Native default button is not so good, and it is showing so much errors like this. Oops. It will install shortly. Just keep a wait for a moment. Okay, you can see native base is installed, and we can run our app again. So let's do this and remove button from React Native we imported. Okay, now our app will restart again, and we can use this button in our screen. This is the console of our app, and I will teach you in the upcoming videos how to use it properly. The app is initializing. It will take a second to restart. It is almost done. So guys, you can see we have a button. Its color is blue. It's not looking so much good, so we have to add some style. So as you remember, in the previous part we also created a styles.js file for our css. So first I have to import style sheet from React Native, from React Native, and then I have to export this file. Export style sheet dot create export. Why this is showing error? Default. Yes. And remember one important thing guys, every time you are working with the file, you have to export that file in order to use it from some other files. Like I'm gonna use this css file in my app.js or somewhere else, so I have to export this file. Okay, in that way I will be able to use it in my other files. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to write the css. Now for image, I will write it as style is equal to styles dot image. Now copy this image and place it here and write the css for this. Now I wanna print it in the center of my screen, so I will write the property as justify content equals to center. Let's save this. And styles, it is showing the error. Export default sheet dot create. So guys, we have to import the style sheet here. We have just created import styles from styles, and now save it. And you can see we have a blue color button which is not looking so good, but we have to create a css for this and also for the text inputs. So let's begin. uh, Coming down here, what I have to do, give it as styles equals to styles. It is not styles, it is styles dot text input. Now copy this one, come back to our styles.js and paste it here and write the css for our text input. So what I'm gonna do is flex direction equals to column. It will create our text inputs in the vertical direction. Okay, and justify content as space between, and it will create a space in our text inputs. Okay, and also remember guys, in this section we have to write align self to place the logo in our app screen center, because it is a component. So whenever we are dealing with the component and we want to print it in the center of the screen, we write it as align self, not justify content. Okay, now let's save it. No changes. And now it's time to style our text inputs. So coming down, write it as style equals to styles dot text underscore input. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just taking it at random. Okay, coming back to styles.js, place it here, and now our border width will be 1, and it will visible our border, and you can see it. Okay, now I will give the border color as orange, so it's looking pretty good. Now its width will be text input width, okay, will be 80%. Okay, and I will do justify content into center, and also align self equals to center, and it will center my text input. Okay, so copy this one here and place them, copy this one and place it in every text input. Okay, and it will apply this text input css to every input field. Okay, now you can see we have our text inputs in our css format. Now it's time to design our button. So style equals to styles dot button. Now copy this one and create a css for our button. Come back here, place it here, and first of all justify content equals to center, and it will bring the click me text in the center of the button. Okay, now you can see it, its background color will be orange, so its width will be 80%, and align self equals to center. So guys, you can see it, and also its border radius, it will curve the edges of the button, so I will give it as 10. Now you can see it. Also copy this border radius property here and place it in text input, so its border will also be adjusted. Now you can see it. Now you can see there is no space between them, so I have to set height property. Okay, and I can give it as 15%. It's too much, bring it to 10%. Sorry. Okay, so bring it to 12%. Okay, you can see it. Okay, you can adjust it according to yourself. So here I can give margin top as 10, and you can see our button is separated from our text inputs, and that's all. Now you can see we have our, here we can add a username, here we can add a password and whatever you want. So that's all guys. Here So guys, in the next video we will be working on React navigations. Make sure to subscribe this channel, that's how you will be notified for the upcoming videos. Okay, so by that time, take care.